Today is geared toward cracking down on uncollected tax revenue that the Biden administration says it can use to fund projects like taking on climate change. The IRS says it's going to use $80 billion to hire more than 7,000 new enforcement employees, upgrade its technology and infrastructure, as well as increase the number of audits on those making above $400,000. So how might this impact you? Joining us now is New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, representing Staten Island. I love it. Congresswoman, thank you very much for coming on the program. You're also one of the leading Republican voices calling for raising the limit on state and local tax, what we call SALT deductions. They're capped now at $10,000. First off, I want to hit the IRS news. I know there's a lot of media. It's been like, they're going to hire 87,000 agents. No, they're not. But it doesn't seem possible that there's no way this doesn't also raise audits on middle-class people.
Absolutely. Secretary Yellen came before our Ways and Means Committee last month, and she basically said that the percentage would remain the same across the board. And that means that 90% of the audits will be for those under $400,000 a year. So that is really what we've been saying all along, that this was going to increase the audits for the middle class. And President Biden keeps talking about those earning over $400,000, but the fact is it's 90% that is below the $400,000 that are being audited. Now, he's trying to basically pay down our debt by, shaking down the middle class, really trying to find every single penny and that he possibly can from hardworking Americans. He's not looking at pro-growth tax policy. He's not looking for better trade deals that can open up new markets for American products overseas. Those are ways that we can increase our GDP without hitting the hardworking American over the head again. So I get concerned because they know that it's the middle class that have the hardest time fighting these audits. They could be completely innocent and done nothing wrong. Now they got to pay tons of money in lawyers, and they know that they'll just end up settling.
If they go to be fair, Congressman, if they go to the audit phase, generally the IRS will just send a letter, sort of like, can you explain this? Can you explain that? I may or may not have received them. And they can be intimidating because it's like, okay, there's some nameless, faceless, gigantic governmental organization that's sending me basically a form letter, and 6 months later they get back to you. Here's what I think a lot of people that are not watching in the New York or Boston or California areas, if you're watching in Dallas or Davenport, Iowa, whatever, $400,000 is a lot of money. We get that. But $400,000 in Staten Island is a lot different than $400,000 in Kansas City. Why are we so obsessed with these fixed dollar rates? If we're going to go after, quote, the rich, can we, like $400,000 in New Jersey or Staten Island is a dentist and an accountant.
That's absolutely right. And that's why I would make the argument that if this is truly about going after the wealthy, they have more than enough agents to do that, especially considering that 90% of the audits are for those earning $400,000 or less currently.